Columbus, Ohio, Gov. Mike DeWine on Saturday deployed the Ohio National Guard, as well as the Ohio State Highway Patrol, to keep order amid protests in Cleveland and Columbus.
Columbus Mayor Andrew Ginther also imposed a curfew for the city of Columbus from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. beginning Saturday night and continuing indefinitely. In Cleveland, Mayor Frank Jackson imposed a curfew from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m.
Their actions came after a third day of protests in Columbus in response to the death of George Floyd by Minneapolis police. During previous nights, people broke windows at the Ohio State House and other downtown buildings and injured 2 officers.
Columbus Mayor Andrew Ginther, speaking after the news conference, said the decision to call out the guard and impose the curfew came after police gathered intelligence that an increasing number of people from groups such as Anonymous are coming into Columbus to commit acts of destruction and violence to further their own end goals.
Those goals, he said, include in some cases, the disruption and the overthrow of the government.
During the news conference, Ginther said that each day, the protests have escalated from peaceful to antagonistic to vandalism.
He noted that on Friday night alone, more than 100 public and private buildings were damaged and several police officers were injured from bricks and rocks thrown at them.
While the vast majority of demonstrators want simply to be heard,
DeWine said during a news conference, sadly, there is a relatively small number of violent individuals who pose a specific threat and a real threat to our law enforcement officers and to the safety of the people of Columbus and Franklin County.
The governor said he was activating the National Guard to drive out hate and violence and help instill order.
He continued, "We do this today so that love and kindness, compassion and peace can triumph over hate and violence."
Though a similar protest in Cleveland on Saturday turned violent, DeWine told reporters that no other Ohio mayors besides Ginther have asked him to call in the National Guard.
Columbus Police Chief Thomas Quinlan said protesters' calls against racism have been overshadowed by people committing vandalism, looting, and damaging our national or local landmarks.
"We have worked with the protesters. We have listened for their calls for change, and we have worked to make sure we can provide an environment that they can have their voices heard," Quinlan said. But the protests have transformed from lawful, peaceful protests into criminal riots. And people are being hurt.
Quinlan told reporters that by having to respond to protests, police have been unable to respond to other calls made by residents.
"It is now to the point that lives are on the line," the chief said.
Quinlan also said that police are getting to an exhaustion point after being pelted with water bottles and fireworks.
Under Columbus's curfew, people cannot drive or walk outside of their property without risking arrest, according to Ginther spokeswoman Robin Davis, though residents can be outside on their property.
There are a number of exceptions to the curfew, Davis stated in an email, including medical emergencies and members of the media.
Read more Cleveland.com stories.
New Ohio coronavirus order extends mass gathering ban until July 1.
Caller told Representative Amelia Sykes he would kill her father if she didn't resign from Ohio legislature.
Cleveland Mayor Frank Jackson, Police Chief Calvin Williams welcome protests over death of George Floyd, so long as they're peaceful.
Elkton prison officials in Ohio, while again appealing judges' order to prevent coronavirus spread, quarantines inmates for transfer.